Vicar's Beach is like this swampy, half-submerged beach of multicolored dunes. And the multicolored dunes, they seem to be pressed into shape. And you have seen, I think, the machine that does the pressing, which is like a giant auto dozer. And within this strange shaped dunes, there are these, what are they? It's described as courtyards, I think. And in the center of this whole thing is Vicar's Ear, which is like a bowl that seemed to be like maybe the antenna of an observatory or something. And the group has found an entrance, which was a staircase directly under the antenna, under the bowl. And checked it out a little bit, I think. You could see flickering lights. And I also remember that Nida, who was the watch at night, saw white crab foams descending into the complex with some kind of objects holding in their hands. And when they left, they didn't have the objects. Mm. But the group decided against taking that entry the next morning, but rather found, you found two other potential entries. One was a pipe leading down, which was in the water, which reminded everyone a bit of the Worm's Nest at Boulders Fort. And then the entry that you actually took, which was a metal door that was set into one of these dunes. And the metal door had a retina scanner that Azure expertly hacked with the help of Cataract. By the way, I think it is canon that Cataract is pregnant, but I'm not sure. Azure, do you have an opinion?
I think that is the case, yes.
Okay. And then you opened the door, and that is where we left off. So what do? You see a corridor, and there's like a little bit of dust on the ground.
What do we know about this place? I may be a little bit lacking in the background. Like we know, it looks like this observatory and all.
I mean, you could have asked at the Jade Baobab what they know about Vicar's Beach.
Oh, I guess in terms of like what do we know about this place? I mean more like what has brought us here with the conception that there's something worth getting here.
That is probably best for Saffron to answer for Chris.
There was, I can't remember the exact details here, but we have strong reason to think that there is some artificial bodies here.
Okay.
And I've been having strong, mental pull toward this space since we last passed through it.
Which are two different things. So the one thing is, I think you heard from Icing Matilda, maybe?
Yeah, it was someone we were poking around of like, where could we... Hamish was partying and asked people...
that was it.
A favor for me and asked if anyone has heard anything about artificial bodies.
Mm-hmm. And so they said that there is rumored to be a machine human body deep under Vicar's Beach.
Yeah, like an actual machine human body rather than just some artificial cadaver type thing.
Mm-hmm. And then the other thing is when Saffron was on the road and looked back down to these strange shapes, they seem to trigger some kind of subroutine in their cybernetic brain. And these two things could be completely unrelated.
But they are both reasons why we are here.
Yes, that's true.
So.
I mean, because this is like a dungeoneering attempt, I assume that nobody takes more than a sack of things down the dungeon. So it's a little bit, you can't have like 15 rations unless that is the only thing you take with you. I'm not counting beans or anything, but take a reasonable amount of stuff with you.
Sure.
I'm looking at Nida with her sack. There's a sack of grenades, I think, on top of all the weapons.
Oh, I'm just those are on a bandolier.
Of course.
I'm only taking like half a dozen.
Fair.
Hardly a thing.
I have relatively little if
nice.
People want to have me carry stuff as we go in. I can pack mules and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And then obviously Azure can just carry twice as much as anyone else.
Yeah,
I think
the pack mule.
Yeah, I should be good. I've got my porter's pack, and then I think that lets you carry a second sack's worth of stuff or something. Is that correct? I'm trying to remember.
Could be, and makes sense.
I'm trying to remember. Let's see here.
I think the official description is it has like a shelf that you carry on your back that lets you carry more shit on your back.
Yeah, more effectively.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very Death Stranding.
Mm-hmm.
So how wide is this initial tunnel? Like, is it wide enough for us to go 2 by 2 or?
No. It is quite claustrophobic. So it's like
we found the maintenance hatch.
Yes, it really looks like a maintenance or service tunnel. If Azure walks through it, like her shoulders touch both sides.
So I'll bring up the rear. That way you guys can shoot stuff, and I'll block stuff if we get jumped from behind.
I think I'm not 100% sure, but one of the traits of machine humans, and that also goes probably for cybernetic dogs, is that they have thermal vision. So I would assume you don't need a light source, but for the rest, it's really dark. Do you have some kind of lamp or lantern or?
I have a lamp that's included in my porter's pack. Haha.
Mm-hmm. So is it safe to assume that you be in the front then?
Sure. Yeah, front or like you said. It sounds like it's pretty narrow, like at least compared to Azure D's frame.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, either in front or like perhaps directly behind the person in front and like holding it over their shoulder type.
Mm-hmm. So Nida Saffron, I'll make a.
You want to be in point, or do you want me to do it?
I mean, I can be a small front target and guide along the way. That'd be not the worst.
Is your lamp a directional lamp? Like, is it a flashlight that you can shine down the hallway so we can see it, or?
Maybe it's one of those clever things that can either be a flashlight if you like kind of close it, but if you like slide it open, it's kind of a 360 lamp.
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So it can be either. I think right now I'm going 360 unless we want to be more directional.
Well, the reason I'm asking is because with Saffron's thermal vision, it kind of makes sense for them to be on point. But with the amount of guns that I'm carrying, it kind of makes sense for me to be right behind them, just to it's like get down and then fire over them if we run into something that needs to be shot. Does that make sense?
meaning that you're looking for directional light or not?
Well, that's why I was asking. I was asking about it because if you were third in line and you had a directional lamp, you could be shining it over our heads so we could see what's ahead, and Saffron could be scanning for thermal signatures.
Yeah, sure. I can do that.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
So I guess Saffron is on point, and then Nida is second, and then it's Sarko, and Azure is taking the rear. So Saffron, the first thing when you enter that you realize is that there is like the floor is, as I said, covered in dust, and it's at least an inch. You can see a lot of footprints leading in and out.
So it's actively, someone's been here, which is interesting. Well, they'll notice that we took care of the entry access.
You also think it is a bit weird that it's so dusty.
Is it like, I guess I like extend an arm down and like pinky finger some dust up. Is it like cobwebby? Is there a reason why it's like so stable?
It seems to be like stone dust.
Oh, like someone ground stone down?
Yes, exactly. And that that had been in the air and then like settling down.
Okay. So it's like, is it thick and heavy?
Pretty heavy, yeah.
Oh, okay, so that's why it's not blown around when a current of air comes through. Okay, that's what I was trying to figure out, why it doesn't get disturbed by like us opening the door. Stone dust in the air doesn't sound very healthy, but if it's out of the air and on the floor now, maybe we're fine.
So I think when you shine your light into the corridor, it seems to be pretty long, longer than the range of your light at least. And you walk for a couple of minutes when Saffron, you see, or actually you feel like airflow from the left. And if you look at it, it seems like an air vent that would, that is big enough to fit everyone except Azure.
Interesting. Air vent is okay. What are the walls here?
It's like very, very like meticulously cut stone, obviously industrial, but probably with a laser or something.
Okay.
Now there's no cables or tubes or anything, although this is clearly like a maintenance or service tunnel. There's no infrastructure in that regard.
I mean, like I like glance into the air vent, and I think I've like just tell the others, I'm like, mental note that there's this, and like I like pull myself up to it, and I'm like, I don't think we're all gonna fit through, but in a pinch, if we need to run away.
I could have I switched around what my slots are, and I could have my own salamander construct check it out a little bit if we just want to get an idea of what's in there. I could kind of send him down and back.
So when you look inside the Urban Saffron, you don't. It seems to be pretty long. There's no. Well, there is, because you have thermal vision, you can see that there is like warm air at some point coming from down a shaft, probably.
Okay, so this is like exhaust potentially also from something. Okay. Interesting. So there is clearly something more active below us. But I think practically speaking, we kind of just need to keep going down this.
If you go further down, you start, like your ears pick up, it's like a rhythmic banging or scraping. It very, what's the opposite of loud? Very soft in the beginning, but the further you go down, the louder it gets. And I think you can see before you, like maybe, I don't know, 20, 30 feet before you, there is some kind of dim light.
Okay, we're finally getting somewhere. So,
So
yeah, I think I just like motion for everyone to like get their weapons up and be careful.
So when you proceed, the tunnel widens to a room, and the room is like 30 feet deep, and it has these like alcoves on the left and right, 6 alcoves, and they seem to be well, they have some kind of technology to them. And you can see something or someone standing in one of them. And that is where the light comes from. It's like this bluish, I don't know, what is it called? Cherenko radiation light.
Right.
And the creature that stands there unmovingly looks. Has this slender frame, long like grappling arms, an elongated head. It's gray and looks pretty much like the creatures that attacked the ash eaters on the Iron Isle. But it's not moving.
I don't think.
Sorry.
I was gonna say I don't think I know what the ash eaters on the Iron Isle are. I don't necessarily need like a huge description, but what was their deal?
So the creatures that came out of the water, they seem to be some kind of aquatic creatures, and the creature that you're seeing that is in the that's standing in the alcove is one of them, and the ash eaters is just they are nomads who live on the Iron Isle, and they got attacked by the water people. But Nida and Austins, I think, scared them away.
Speaking of Austins, where is Austins?
I think he stayed back, if it's okay for you, to protect the villagers.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then at the end of the room, the tunnel goes further south, further in the direction that you were going.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you do?
We can carefully poke a head in. I'm curious if there's anything in any of the other little alcoves also. But
yeah, so the maybe it's a question for you, Saffron. The alcoves, they seem to be some kind of docking station. The one that the creature is standing in connects them to the machine. How does it look like? What is the connection exactly?
I like the image of it just being like a couple of like pipes that are like pipes coming out of what looks like kind of like cement, basically, almost. Just like raw plumbing. And you imagine like someone docking into it would have to like line up, like it's kind of crude in that regard where it's one size fits all. You kind of have to line up whatever ports you have and kind of like hang off of them potentially.
Nice. And so you can see these pipes sticking out of the other alcoves as well.
Okay, so
even after you poked your head into the room, the creature is not reacting.
Does it seem dead?
Yeah, well,
or similar?
Or we can just ignore it.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you do to it? It's not moving. What do you do to find out whether it's dead or not?
How far away is it from us right now?
I would say it's like 15 feet.
All right, I'll send my salamander over to like, see if getting closer does anything, and if getting closer doesn't do anything, it'll like try to like climb up on it and see if that has any reaction.
I'd like to get into a spot where I have clear line of sight on this, and a gun and my satrap radiant gun trained on it. So I want to be aiming at this thing if it moves.
And do you make room for Azure to come in, or do you stand in the entrance to the room?
I think we're basically clearing the entrance because the last thing we want is to have a kill box like that. If this thing, it's like we want to be able to like have multiple attacks on this thing at once, not have people trying to clear a kill box at the same time that they're trying to fight. So
other question: do we see what is glowing? Is it holding something? Is it?
It's the. I think that the glow comes from the both the pad they're standing on and the pad that is above them.
Okay, so it's potentially something related to the charging station, or.
So your salamander like skittles towards the water person. I think we can call them a foam. And it makes like a weird evading motion, and you can see something else skittling over the floor. But it proceeds. I think it's like programmed to do that one thing, and that one thing was to go to the foam. And it stops in front of the foam and waits for, I don't know, new orders.
The salamander? Okay. I mean, I thought what I was describing was like approach, stop, see if there's a reaction. If not, then it would climb up on it. So
okay. It does climb up on it. Still no reaction.
Okay. All right. Well, if there's no reaction from it still, I'll make whatever like whistle sound or whatever calls it back.
It comes back.
Doesn't seem to be reacting to much.
Saffron, you want to check that machine there before we get any farther in? See if you can hack into it or figure out what the heck it's supposed to do.
I think it's just charging. I don't know how much we'll get from, unless we want to disturb this thing.
Well, from what I was understanding, this thing's standing on a charging pad with a couple of pipes leading away from it toward a different machine.
Into the wall, I would assume. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, into the wall. Do we want to leave this thing behind us, or do we want to make sure it's permanently decommissioned?
I think Saffron just kind of like shrugs and is like, if we can do it without making a lot of noise.
If there's something like simple we could do, like off switch it, sure. But if it's like blast it, that feels like more likely to attract some sort of reaction or something.
Yeah, that's unfortunately, I don't really have the capacity to do things quietly.
Like, it doesn't feel great to leave a potential foe behind us on our path back out.
Well, actually, since the biomechanical salamander is what it is, it says it can connect to an ancient machine, which a foam is kind of like, or it's based on ancient machinery. I'll see if I'll give it the command to go over, try to interface with it, and like access something to sort of like permanently switch it off.
Mm-hmm. How does the salamander normally connects to machines?
I think that a lot of times, I think this has come up before. I'm having trouble remembering how it came up before. But what I'm visioning right now is that it will like crawl up the back of this Voam and sort of align its spine with the Voam's spine, more or less, and then sort of spread itself very thin so that it's in contact with a lot of the surface area of the Voam to sort of like directly stimulate, because Voams are also biomechanical, like nerves and whatnot, and kind of communicate directly into its spine.
Wow. But it's like skin contact. There's no like injection of wires or anything.
Maybe. I'm thinking here of like how, when you bring wires close to one another, sometimes you can induce a charge.
Yes. Okay, cool. So the salamander crawls onto the Voam onto the backside, and you can probably hear like a small discharge. And let's see what's your phrasing on your sheet is. Flux.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there is some risk with this, since as it says, it's vulnerable to corrupted code, and that's like everything that a Voam is. So
it is. That is true. I think that you. How do you normally communicate with Flux? Does Flux talk?
I think that it doesn't talk, but it can understand. And if we need to communicate directly to one another, it needs to come over and like interface with me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like physical to physical.
Yeah. Azure, what is Cataract doing at the moment?
I've got Cataract like in a pocket or something like that, or like in a belt pouch, kind of like 90s Marvel comics, lots of belt pouches. And I can feel her like rustling around and kind of like acting erratically. Like maybe she's turning up, like rolling over, or like running in circles. It kind of feels like that, but obviously, I'm not paying attention to that right now.
I just checked your character sheet. Which of your slots is active?
For me?
No, sorry, for Azure.
You're right. I fucking didn't check it off. It was Cataract was checked off.
Okay, cool.
Because remember, we retroactively turned it on.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean with checked off? Is it on now or is it off?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, it is on.
That's on. That's on. You checked the box. Okay, I get it.
We used it to open the door.
Yes, that's true. That is true.
Yeah.
Cool. Azure, you've.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
You saw that Flux was evading like a small something on the floor. And if, in your eyes, it looked like, I don't know, something like maybe an insect or something.
Huh.
But when Flux returns, I don't know, it sits on your hand, I guess. Sako.
Okay.
And I don't know, does it like pinch you in Morse code or?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. It can,
it could be something completely different. I mean.
Yeah.
It could spit out like an old telegram thing, like a paper.
Oh, that's kind of fun. Sure. Yeah. I'm trying to think of things that are a little bit more low tech, right? Yeah. For it to do, and sure, like some sort of like printout, like for when it eats, like it eats a lot of plant matter and it turns that into paper for when it prints out stuff. It doesn't actually need to eat per se.
So it says interface complete. Corrupted code detected. Waiting further instructions. Can be hacked. Okay. And it says it can be hacked. Danger of corruption.
All right. And then I'm going to ask it, what's the thing it's been avoiding on the floor since I've seen it, like it didn't take a straight line, right? You said it avoided something when it was going back and forth.
It says unable to identify. Looked like a flash drive on legs.
Okay. A flash drive on legs?
But you don't know if that is like the context that the Flux has is obviously different from our context.
Was it moving or was it still? It was moving. Okay.
Was moving.
I shine my flashlight to see if I can see it on the floor.
Actually, when you look at the floor, you can see definitely a handful of these bug-like creatures, but they're not moving. And they look pretty much what Flux said. They look like small flash drives that have these tiny legs, but none of them are moving.
How close is like maybe the nearest one? If it seems pretty close, I might try to grab one and just see.
It's easy to find one.
When I pick one up, does it like squirm around or is it?
It moves its feet like lazily or weakly, I would say. It also leaks a little bit of oil.
Oh, sure. Foul-smelling juice, right? Is it Saffron that's the machine human? I'll kind of like, hold it up like this. Is like, does this look like anything you've ever encountered?
I don't know.
Probably like, my guess is no. Especially at least the form factor, if nothing else. I'm like,
Does the fact that it looks like a flash drive on legs extend to like? Does it have like a little obvious like port on it? Does it look like it plugs into something?
Yes.
Cataract has that USB interface on her tail. That's how she connects to things.
Sure, I'll hand it over.
All right. Cataract out. We communicate like psychically, but not like I don't communicate to her in English, but it's more just like ideas and things like that. So I could like project, like go in there and fuck with the things, and then she'll go in there and fuck with the things. So I pull her out and I ask her how she's feeling.
I think,
or envision her barfing or something like that, you know?
Yeah. The answer you get is like a warm, fuzzy feeling, and maybe you see what are frog eggs called?
Tadpoles or no?
Yeah, there's like tadpoles and pollywogs. But I don't remember if the eggs have a name.
Yeah, so pre-tadpole egg.
All right. Is it like biomechanical eggs? Would I even know what that is, or is she giving me telling me, and I'm like,
yeah, I think she's telling you that the pregnant test is positive.
The little plus on a USB drive. I send like the vibe of her connecting her tail to the bug. So,
you feel that she is reluctant.
All right.
I mean, you can tell her. It's just that she is obviously. I don't know. She probably watched Flux as well very closely. I mean, they're partners,
right?
And Flux gets the. He's unsure about this whole place and connecting to stuff. There's definitely the chance of some kind of corrupted code that is transmitted, and especially in her state at the moment, that's the least of her.
Yeah.
The last thing.
Funny because like it's out of character. That's pretty interesting from a story perspective. Biocorrupted babies, but
I mean, if you want to produce them.
I mentioned to Sarko, I say, hey, I think they've mated, and there's more biomechanical salamanders on the way. She's feeling a little nervous because she's with childs. So what do you think? I mean, I guess you already know that your guy is sketchy. I wouldn't know that, but
I mean, I feel like the risk of corruption is enough to probably try to avoid doing that or avoid corruption. But I don't know, especially since vomishness is considered pretty dangerous, right?
Right. Yeah, that would be weird to have Vom cyber salamander babies.
Yeah.
Be a little dangerous.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to have like little black plague puppies,
Right. All right. Well, so with it, is there any like indication of where the quote unquote brain is on this thing?
On the flash drive?
Yeah.
You would think that no, the whole body is probably the, where the information is stored.
Oh, okay. Because I was thinking if we could disable it, like if I squished its little brain, like not the data on the drive, but the actual whatever the battery of what it is. Like if I squished it, we could examine it later, maybe pull information off of it, maybe not, But is that an option?
It's definitely an option if it takes some time. Definitely for Sarko and probably for Saffron to find like an easy way to make sure that it's not moving.
I mean, tear off its leg.
Well, that is an idea that Azure could have come up with.
I mean, is there any chance that this could be a body for your mother?
Hey, Mom, look what
I think just like Saffron just has this like face and is like, like, could it work? Maybe. Is it right? No. This isn't what we heard about. That's for sure, at least.
But you've already... And here Nida pauses, trying to figure out how to say this. Your faith has already been challenged by the forms we have found that you could transfer consciousness into. I mean, your faith didn't say anything about a cybernetic prairie dog body.
That's fair. But I think...
I mean, I understand that this is non-ideal. And I'm not saying that this should be our first choice. I'm just saying if we are trying to figure out a way to, since it appears to be non-functional right now, maybe we try to make sure it remains non-functional in a way that doesn't mean it can't be used as
to keep it as backup.
Yes, as a last resort.
Yeah, I'm not. I think the vomish part is the thing that's might be a deal breaker to Saffron, of just like ideally, or like whether Saffron would consent to doing a transference into anything that was potentially corrupted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I think Saffron in the moment is deeply feels with the backups are good. Like second, like planning alternatives in case everything goes sour is good.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, if we can think of a way to like make sure that this can't hurt us, but otherwise not do anything too bad to it.
I mean, I think Saffron, you can interface with, can't you? I thought you could interface with, with other machines, and I think Sarko can via Flux, Azure can. So there's definitely ways.
But I mean, we could also just like tie it up or something. Like there are physical ways we could restrain it, basically.
Can we?
I could just friggin' zip it up into one of my pouch things. You know, I mean, I'll keep it far away from cataract, but
I think that you can't fit the whole volume. I think you're talking about the flash drive.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about the flash drive. My bad.
No worries. But I mean, you can zip tie the volume as well.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any way we can just format it? I mean, if we format it, that should get rid of any corrupted code, and it should leave it unresponsive to new stimuli or signals, and still leave it in a state where we could install Saffron's mother into it.
Should feels a little optimistic.
Exactly. So the way I'm not sure, but it seems as if Vohm's the biomechanical infection is like the code infection, in the same way that people could have faulty DNA, so that permeates the whole body.
It's like cancerous cells.
Yeah. That is how I see it.
Okay.
Vohm's kind of like, not in a way that not to like Vom shame, but they sort of are cancer, right? Like it's sort of integral to what they are. I think formatting a Vom will just kind of leave you with an exoskeleton, like a non-functional one.
Vom shaming, terrible.
Well, they can be player characters, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
I mean, yeah, if we did reformat it, though, it would clear out any kind of antivirus, you know, or should.
Yeah,
I think that my feeling is like I think that they sort of are like it's sort of they are viral. It's sort of integral to what they are. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, it's not just the machine component.
Well, we got some vibe that there was like a suitable body down here.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And if this is not it, I mean, it seems like this is not it. Like, I don't know if we would get that vibe, you know, like something was safe if it had a grenade in it, you know. So let's keep it moving and like keep looking for it. And if on the way out there's nothing, we'll grab it and, you know, throw a grenade in it or something.
Yeah. Well, and like Voms are not so rare that like if this was a viable option, it feels like it would have pinged on the radar before now, right?
Yeah, exactly. So you all hear it is now pretty obvious that the noise that you hear come from something like jackhammers. So you go on. Oh, do you leave the body behind? Do you tie it up? Do you try to kill it?
Let me see what I've got. If I've even got stuff to tie stuff up.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think one of these I'm fine with just leaving it, but
yeah, I'm not too worried about one. It could be behind us and that could be bad, but if it's just one.
I mean, if it's behind us and it actually comes to life, it'll hit Azure first. So
I think the closest.
I'll walk backwards with my porcelain pistols drawn, just in case.
All I've got that could tie it up is bandages, and I don't think that's going to hold a bone. So I don't think I got anything that could do that.
I thought that the porter has ropes. On
probably.
That's what I'm looking in. Boots, tea flask, water bottle, sunscreen lamp, bandages, sleeping bag, blister cream, numbing chew root, and carry rack for one more sack of supplies. I'm on that chew root right now. Yeah. I say we press on.
And leave it behind. Okay. So Saffron. Shortly after you leave the room, you find that the like when Sarko shines his light on it, that on the wall there is like scorch marks, and there's it has these blast patterns, so that something exploded there.
That seems like a bad sign.
Yeah.
And the noise of the jackhammers getting louder.
Is the impression that they're like, if we're standing still, they're getting closer to us?
No.
They're getting more intense, or
no. When you move further.
Okay, gotcha. So we're just getting closer to.
Yes. You're getting closer to the source of the sound.
Okay, sounds good.
So after a couple of minutes, the service tunnel ends into a pretty big room, and it is actually illuminated by like helmet lights. by, and I have to roll how many you see. 3. They look like a worker vomes. So they, let me see. They have the same general shape of the water people that you've seen before, the one that's standing in the alcove. But they have like these jackhammers strapped to their arms, and the only light that you can see is from their helmets, and also from the sparks that they cause at the end of the room when they drill into what looks like a tunnel. There's like a tunnel leading deeper into the whole structure, and they work there. They're unable to hear you, obviously. They're also not turning around. And then you can see to the left there is like a conveyor belt that also makes some noise, where the stones that they break out of the end of the tunnel are transported to the left into another tunnel.
And what are the creatures doing in this excavation?
The Vomes?
Yes.
Vomes.
They're excavating. It does seem like, well, you don't know what they do, but the stones are transported from your perspective to the left.
Are they just digging up? Are they just jackhammering just sort of general stone, or are they like? Is there an object or?
It does look like. I don't know how it is.
Let me rephrase my question. Does it look more like they are doing this for the stone to collect the stone, or does it? Okay, all right.
Yes, it seems like a gravel extracting.
Got it.
Like mission.
Got it. There's more tunnel, or does this tunnel dead end except for the conveyor belt?
It seems like a dead end, except for the conveyor belt. And I mean, the conveyor belt leaves somewhere. And it leaves in the same direction as the air vent. I'm not sure if that is a hint or something.
Well, given the way that Vomes are, and like Sarko will be saying this, given the way that Vomes are, I wonder if they're feeding something or making a hell of a lot of concrete.
Yeah, it's weird. Why would they need jackhammer armed Vomes to keep feeding them gravel? Well, Sarko, I don't know if you you knew, but there was like when we were crossing the river, there was like this looked like what was a base of some sort under the water that we didn't fuck with.
Okay.
I mean, it could be it's something related to that. Maybe they're building tunnels underground for that purpose or some other purpose. I don't know. Sure.
Well, in Circle relate, I've heard from travelers that Vomes will do all kinds of things that don't make any sense, and sometimes they'll just do that forever.
They get stuck in a loop.
Yeah. Or the example I can think of is, have any of you played Universal Paperclips? It's a browser game. It's actually really good, but it's based on this thought experiment that one of the dangers of AI is if you create an AI to be get really efficient at making paperclips, the AI may decide to turn all known matter in the universe into paperclips because that's its job. We may have
including human beings, obviously.
Yep. Oh, all of the Earth. Yeah, exactly. Stars. But that
all mass.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe similarly single-minded. But who knows? It's tough to know what goes on inside of Vome's head. Maybe dangerous to know.
I forgot in the description of the room an interesting detail for Saffron. I think the others don't see it because the room is not lit at all. The only light source, except your flashlight, is the headlamps. but there is definitely like a red heat glow coming from one corner of the room that Saffron sees.
Strange.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there's not, if I'm understanding, yeah, I can take over taking notes. Okay. Let me pull those up 1 second.
Yeah, take a pocket.
Yeah. So this room, there's not a whole lot going on besides the conveyor belt and the Vomes jackhammering away at a wall.
Mm-hmm.
My impression of the wall that they're jackhammering is it's just essentially a bare wall that they're extracting.
Yeah, well, it's more like a tunnel that goes deeper, but it ends like 4 or 5 feet in. And
they're like essentially creating this tunnel.
Yes, exactly.
By extracting stuff, but there's nothing there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a path. There's no features. There's nothing to.
Does the heat that Saffron sees come from something within the room, or is it radiating from something out? Okay.
No, it's within the room.
Yeah. So that's at the moment, unless we feel like climbing along a conveyor belt to get somewhere else. The whatever heat source thing is potentially a sign of something, because I the recollection is like, oh yeah, this feels similar to the heat draft that we saw in the air vent.
Stronger. It's definitely much stronger. It's that's why I feel bad for not mentioning it the moment you step into the room. It's like it's glow, like it's radiation, like.
Oh, gotcha. So it's like there is something about that corner, like in Stalker style anomaly, where it's spewing heat out.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
And the others feel no heat and see no light source or anything coming from that object, whatever it is.
I mean, the Vomes seem pretty distracted.
Is with the conveyor belt, does it take up that entire tunnel, or is it like to go the direction that the conveyor belt goes, would you have to ride it, or could you walk alongside it?
You would have to ride it. But there's definitely space enough to ride it. Again, for Azure, it would be very claustrophobic.
Yeah, well, and it feels like a bad idea to sort of get on a gravel conveyor belt where you don't know where it goes. It doesn't feel like it ends well for, sentience.
Sure. I mean, how fast is the conveyor belt?
Relatively slow.
So, worst case, you scramble back along the conveyor belt.
Sure, we reenact the end of Toy Story 3, right?
Yeah.
It's like old Looney Tunes cartoons,
Exactly.
Doon, 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 doon,
Always
doon.
good.
Oh yeah. There's definitely an intrigue to it.
I think.
Absolutely.
Honestly, it's like, okay, well, where else do we?
It does.
Longer term, where else do we explore? But
especially since, if Azure D simply cannot fit in the vent, and the vent isn't that much better to begin with, I feel like riding the conveyor belt is about our best next bet.
In both cases.
I was going to say, I do point out this corner of the room with this radiant heat source, and I'm like, that's really weird. I don't have any idea what's going on there.
Well, could it be a fissile material? Could it be something that's just literally radiating? I don't know if that would show up that way, but
Yeah, potentially if it's just like raw material down here putting off stuff that's interacting with my thermal vision.
Yeah.
I mean, in both cases, in the cases of the air vent and the conveyor belt, you can also always send flux or cataract.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
Because they would be able to walk under the conveyor belt.
Mm. Yeah, sure. Given that, I'll send flux under the conveyor belt to see where the conveyor belt ends, return, and report.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I think I kind of, while maintaining a little bit of distance, get a little closer to the radiant source in the corner, just to be like, if I get a little closer, do I feel it get warmer or?
I think you don't.
Okay. That makes it more concerning.
Mm-hmm. When you get closer, I think you can see in the dimly in the bad lighting situation that it seems to be crates. They are these metal crates. They are corroded and they are stacked on top of each other. And there must be a dozen or so.
I think Saffron kind of backs off from the crates after kind of getting a slightly closer feel. And like, I think we don't want to have anything to do with that corner.
And so Flux is crawling away. And let's see. Need to make a roll once in a while, if in good old dungeoneering fashion. Okay, and oh wow, this is great. So turns out that one of the three vomes is different than the rest, in that they wear clothes. And so what gives away that these are clothes from the Red Bear village?
Me? Sorry, was that?
Yeah.
Me?
Yes, that was.
Red Bear Village. Maybe I'll just keep it simple, and it's someone's wearing the same traditional sanitation jumpsuit of one of the sanitation crew. Sanitation clan.
That was what I was thinking. But they do have they have roughly the same shape of the bones, so their arms are definitely longer. But the head is if you look at it a bit more closer, once you realize that one of them are actually wearing clothes, it still has a human face. And you can also see that their movement is sluggish compared to the more efficient excavating movements.
Has the caravan? Is there such a thing that the caravan has encountered as something that started out as a normal biological that becomes infected or corrupted by vomes? Is that a thing?
Azure.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, has the caravan come across any instances of a full biological that becomes corrupted by vomes? Say a person who catches the Vome virus or whatever. Is that something that has come up before?
Not that, I mean...
Azure got Vome corrupted back at Saffron, at Johnny 7, but got healed. And also Azure and Hamish and the witch came across like a necrotic volume that was like definitely that was in the after you passed through the portal at the Grey Glow.
Is that,
yes.
Is that the one that I snuffed?
Yes, that is the one.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No worries.
Right, I forgot about that.
I actually said Azure as an answer to the question, has anybody been corrupted? And I said Azure because you were corrupted.
Right, by the eggs, right?
Got it. All right. So that's all right. So that seems like maybe that's what's happening here.
And that is when Flux comes back, crawls back to your hand and spits out the paper thing, saying, let's see. It says, big room, brick making machine, 2 exits. I don't know what else it was supposed to look out for.
Yeah, I'll ask if it saw like how did the conveyor belt feed into the brick making machine? Does it look like something where, we could easily avoid being dumped into the brick making machine if we were riding the belt?
Yes, it traverses the room before it enters the machine.
Great. I relate this to my comrades. Sounds like riding the belt shouldn't be too bad.
Let's do it.
I'm all for it.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good.
Yep.
So I assume that the same marching order is also the conveyor belt surfing order. So Saffron, Sarko, and Azure.
Makes sense to me.
For Saffron, it is definitely the most or the least scary experience because your body is shaped in a way that you fit on the conveyor belt pretty easily. You can also, scout the area before you with your thermal vision. For Sarko, it's probably, you're sitting on a rumbling conveyor belt filled with spiky stones, so it's less comfortable. And for Azure, this is a nightmare. You're squeezed on this thing. Sometimes your back touches the tunnel ceiling. It's dusty and noisy and dirty, and you get shaken through. Fortunately, the ride is not very long, and so the conveyor belt exits the tunnel that you were in into what you can feel like, although you can't really see it, a much bigger room. And you can breathe again. The dust settles a bit. But the room is completely dark. And in the like if you move around your flashlights, you can see that you're on the conveyor belt moving towards this big machine, like the maw of the machine where the bricks end.
Mm-hmm.
Where the conveyor belt ends.
All right, I'll pop off the belt at the earliest opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Do I see the exits that Flex mentioned?
The room.
I might not because it's such a big room.
It's too big to see anything except this. And the brick making machine that Flux was pointing out also has definitely again some biological components to it. It's not. It doesn't look like a biological creature. It looks more like a machine with like fleshy biological features. So what I described as a more actually has like teeth. I don't know, Azure. What else do you see? What reminds you of a biological body?
I think all of the wires and piping and things like that are made out of intestine-like material.
Nice, love it.
Can't go wrong with intestines.
Never. That is true. Yeah, and let's see. Well, actually, you do see light coming from the north, so that would be to the left of you.
I asked Flux which direction the two exits were in.
And it says, well, it points, it maneuvers itself in a way that it points its nose to the north, and it points into the direction that the conveyor belt went.
Okay.
So which would be east, north and east.
Okay, gotcha. So would east be behind this brick making?
Yes, east would be behind.
So keep giving it a wide berth. Me and my flashlight are going to try to see like what exit would be behind that thing.
Yes, and you can also, like, over the rumbling of the conveyor belt and the sound that the machine itself makes, which it's pretty loud. There's some kind of pressing and steam coming out of it. You actually do hear this like skittering sound, and when you move around the machine, you can see, which looks like again, maybe robots or drones or something. They have 4 legs. They are the size of maybe a beer crate, and they are carrying on their shoulders like bricks towards what you can now see is a tunnel that leads east. And it's like a constant stream, like ants.
Sure. All right. Well, looks like that way's where the bricks go, but I don't know what's to the north. Maybe that'd be more worth checking out first.
So when you move north, you can see in the light of your flashlight a tunnel slash. It's not really a tunnel. It's more like a passage. Is that a good word? Like a portal that leads to another room that is actually illuminated by it reminds you, Saffron and Azure. It reminds you the at. Is that the preposition you use? It reminds you at? No, it reminds you of the neon tube lights that you've seen under the antenna. So it's some kind of flashing, dysfunctional neon lights behind that portal.
I asked Flux to see if does it seem like that flashing is communicating any information? Does it match to any Morse code type things that he knows?
So he waits for 30 seconds and then spits out no.
Okay. Cool. Just want to make sure we don't get snow crashed or something by going in there.
Nice reference.
Well, it seems like of the 2 exits, this one seems like the more interesting one.
There is, I think you can see, well, in the minute where Flux was, trying to read the intervals of the light.
Back.
Sorry, say it again.
Oh, I'm just back. That's all.
Oh, okay, cool. when you like turn your flashlights at the portal itself, there is what looks like green glass lying on the floor, like shattered green glass, and there's also like a dark substance, like some kind of the rest of a liquid that may be evaporated. Could be oil.
And that's laying in this like threshold doorway.
Yes, in this on the floor.
Is there like how much like glass and what is it like sort of a bottle's worth, or is just like all over the floor? Or
no, the glass is I would say like maybe the size of a bottle, maybe a little bit more, and the liquid could be like maybe a liter.
Using a stick or something so that I'm not touching the glass, just in case. I'll try to like flip over the glass pieces just in case there was any like label or something on the exterior. If the pieces are big enough to maybe make that up.
Make a saving throw.
Yeah, you bet. What do I use for a saving throw in this? Is it one value?
ST. Yeah, it's one value. It's ST.
Got it. All right. And this is over or under?
It is under.
Okay.
It's unlike D&D, which confuses me every time.
I figured it was under since most things in this system are, but it's a 10, which is over my 7.
Yes. So what the others see is there's from the ceiling drops this. It is a weird mixture between. So it looks slimy when it falls, but it turns glassy when it hits. And it is, you are hit by this slimy, glassy thing. You take, let's see, D4 damage. I can just roll it. Physical dice. I don't have the dice roller open, which I should do. And it is 2 damage. And you feel trapped. So the slime cuts when it hits you, and then it cuts when it hits you, it turns to glass, and it also encases you. So that if you move, you cut yourself again.
That's not good.
No.
What do you do?
Well, I don't move. Is it covering me entirely? Like
no. It's
okay.
I want to say maybe shoulder to right.
Got it. And is it like hot or no? Is it just sort of like viscous and
it is this weird paradoxical situation that it is cold, but it is at the same time seems to have slimy and glassy qualities.
Okay.
Sorry, my daughter just showed up. I'll be right back. My bad.
Okay, Sarko, don't move, and we'll try to figure out how to.
When it hits me, or when
I'm like looking up to.
Yeah, when I get struck by it without moving, do I have any sense of like maybe what I did? Like, did it seem to line up with just getting over there, or did it seem to line up with messing with it?
No. It is probably it dropped when you went under it.
Okay. Yeah. So, assuming that I can still talk without hurting myself, I'll say, don't get too close. I think, walking over here is what dropped this on me.
And when you look up, Saffron, you can see at least 2 others of these blobs hanging on the ceiling.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, like, look at Sarko and like it's just on your shoulder. Can you move really carefully back this way?
Can I?
Yeah, like can you take?
I don't think if I move, I'm going to take damage, and I only have 1 hit point, so I'm not moving at all.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that because it also covers the hip, like every movement of the leg would. Yeah.
So Zarko can kind of like glance around and talk a little.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe move the head, but not the shoulder.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then don't move. And we'll figure something out. So they're not warm, so it's not that they're like molten glass blobs dropping. They're just slime glass that hardens on contact.
You would assume that they must have some kind of sentience, or like at least on a like virus thing reaction.
Awareness, carnivorous plant, or
like jellyfish type.
Yeah, probably the better metaphor.
Okay. I look up, but I'm also like scanning the rest of the room just to be like extra careful. Like, okay, is there anything else that is like time sensitive about this room?
And the room that you're in, sorry, I was going to say I have a little bit of lag. I will stop my camera because that sometimes causes the lag. I hope we are more in sync now. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Nathan.
Oh, I was going to say, if I can move the side, like the arm that's not, the shoulder that's not, glassed up, I'm going to try to fish out a I don't know, it's probably like a bottle of this curative snake oil that I have. It says it works against a generic remedy against venom, bugs, parasites, diseases, rashes, and blisters. Whether or not that's going to have any effect here, I don't know. This kind of snake oil, is this the kind of thing that is drunk or applied to the
I think
topical or?
So the bottle has written in extremely tiny handwriting, like a whole list of applications. And I assume that at one stage you have looked at it and you know that you can drink it, you can rub it on stuff,
right.
You can use it to loosen screws and drop it in your eyeballs, and everything is good.
Yeah, my instinct here is that I want to maybe like pour this, if this is a creature that's on me or has some sort of reaction, that maybe pouring this on it, if it's a parasite of some kind or similar, that it might cause it to like disengage or slump off.
I think that is a great idea. But it also seems like a luck roll. So just roll your charisma and see if these creatures are sensitive to curative snake oil.
You've got it. Let's see. That's a 16. So that's over my 11.
So what it does is it maybe turns the glass into like more slimy, more viscous quality. So it runs where you poured it on. Let's say, where did you pour it on?
I would say I tried to pour it on to the glass itself. If that, are you asking?
The question is like locally, where is it? More the shoulder, more the
it seems like where I could probably reach, right? Like pour it like this.
Yeah. So I think what happens is you use the whole bottle, and it runs down your shoulder and then it turns into glass again around your hip.
Okay.
That seems like an improvement.
We'll
try to get the other bits off of you in a second. Is like the rest of the room just empty except for these little glass bits, or?
So the room itself, there's again, forget to mention, there's cables hanging from the ceiling. They are like tables lined up on the walls. You can also see that like the whole room gives you the impression of maybe like a conference room that was its original purpose, and you can still see like cabling that indicates that this was like a technically used, like maybe like one of these NASA flight, whatever it's called, mission center rooms. So it still has the tables and the chairs, but they have been removed from the center of the room to line up the walls.
Okay, but that seems like nothing concerning except for these glass things here.
Yes,
that's good. Yeah, I think then just kind of carefully maneuvering to be like, okay, I'll be on the side of Sarko, that opposite of where the other blobs are on the ceiling.
They are easily to be avoided if you know what you're looking for.
Yeah. And just be like, okay, Sarko, let's see if we can figure out how to get this off of your hip. I don't have a great idea, but I have robot fingers, so we could give it a try. The worry is
if Nida's carrying. Sorry, I was gonna say I'm just looking at our group character sheets. If Nida is carrying the curative snake oil that she had, maybe we could, press upon her to see if that second dose gets rid of the remainder.
Get it off your hip.
Well, what we could do is, let's just say Nida gave you the second bottle of snake oil before she returned to the truck. Is that fair?
Oh, okay, sure.
So that she's not with you anymore, but you get the use of the item. And I don't think that Puckett will object to saving you from that spot.
with a 10 coin snake oil.
Yeah, it's not much.
Yeah, cool. So you pour it over your hip, and it has the same reaction. But this time it drips onto the floor.
Okay.
And it looks as if once it's on the floor, it moves towards the side of this portal and tries to climb up again.
Gotcha. I feel like just in case, should we try to sort of pop these other ones down and get rid of them? Like we could try to throw them into that brick maker.
So how do you do that?
We don't have a broom to sweep up the glass shards, but we can get them off the ceiling so that we don't accidentally trigger them when we're running back through here or something.
Yeah.
Hitting the glass shards with your boots is much better than having them fall on your body.
Let me see here. Dun-dun. Yeah, I mean, I'll just use. What happens if I just sort of grab chunks of limestone from the conveyor belt and throw them up at these hanging sort of glass stalactites?
I mean, these bricks, they lay perfect in your hand. That is as built to smash glass. And I think with time, which means I make another counter roll, you can splinter them all. Like you can break them all. All right. See. Interesting. Yeah, you break them all, and you can see now clearly the room behind the portal, behind the passageway. There is some kind of, it looks like a fountain, and the fountain is made from, there's also water in it. You can see all this in this slightly disturbing flickering light. The fountain has like 3 rotating metal cylinders, which look like, I don't know, some kind of modern art installation. To the left, there you can actually. Oh, hold on, I'm in the wrong room. I take everything back what I just said. 1 second. So the room seems to be more or less empty. It doesn't have any kind of fountain. I'm sorry. It has the same cables hanging from the ceiling. It is much smaller though than the room you just came from. There is an air vent on the left side of the wall, and there is like a manhole cover in the floor to the east, and then there's another passageway to the north. And other than that, it seems to be like a smaller conference room, maybe.
You said conference room?
Yeah, it has the same like markings on the floor where there would have been rows of tables in this semicircular way. And maybe there's on the east there's like a small stage that is a little bit elevated, and then next to the stage you can see that manhole cover. So air vent to the west, manhole cover in the ground at the east wall, and then another passageway to the north. And this what's it called? Not disorienting, discerning flashing lights. So what do you do?
Sarko, for the moment, is rummaging around in his bags for anything that can. I don't think he has anything useful for himself, but yeah, he's not taking any risks right now. When he's feeling as low as 1 hit point feels.
I mean,
so he's hanging back.
Yeah, you could try to get back to camp, so to speak, and heal up. In 1 hit point is not a joke.
Mm-hmm.
Unless somebody has like healing lotion.
Well, and even then, that might be a bit overkill because I've only got 5 hit points max.
Well, it's the 5 hit points that's between you and death.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
Nida has VC healing lotion. She has 1 left, but
yeah, I have 1 too.
She was pretty happy to share.
Well, I don't want to take too much from Nida.
We just took the curative snake oil as well.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
Okay. All right.
I don't want to take more than that. I'm just saying I'm hanging back. So
okay.
Yeah, if it didn't involve climbing back along a conveyor belt, this would almost be we could just sneak back out and.
What's the manhole deal?
So you check out the manhole.
I mean, does it look like I could even fit down it?
Yes, you would. It's a manhole cover.
Is it? I mean, is it more roomy than the rest of the hallways?
It is more roomy than the air vent. It wouldn't be like the most pleasant experience for you. It would still be tight squeeze.
Oh, here's a quick question. Since I missed last session, in between the assault on the porcelain walker and now, did you guys like rest and heal up? Because I was partially damaged from the attack on the porcelain walker, so maybe that had already been healed.
Yeah, definitely. I would say that you had the time to sleep at the Jade Baobab and then take the ferry the next day.
So I'm at 3 instead of 1.
Yes.
Okay. So
that's a little less precarious.
A little better. I'm down to yank off this manhole cover and take a look down, because it seems like down, like
we're gonna go deeper.
Floor is all just like this factory, maybe, and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And if we get further down, is always good, right? That's how this works.
Well, I mean, it sounds to me like we're gonna get deeper. You know what I mean? We're gonna go deeper in the complex, and with 1 hit point.
Well, I'm a little better than that. I'm at 3.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. Then, yeah, I reach down, I stick my fingers in the holes of the manhole cover and pull it up one-handed.
Mm-hmm. Pretty impressive. You can see in Sarko's flashlight that there's like a metal ladder leaning down.
I'm gonna send my salamander to climb down if it can, and try to reach the bottom of the ladder, and just take a quick look, just to see more than the bottom of the ladder, just to see if there's anything down there, and then come back up and report.
Yeah, I don't think that Flux would would be able to take the ladder, but I mean, salamander can, I think, just climb sheer walls as far as I know.
That's easier, but otherwise I was going to suggest, well, if we have some rope, we can tie it on a leg and
if
lower it like a little probe.
Right. If Flux is able to climb the wall, then we'll do that.
And Flux returns, I don't know, maybe 3 minutes later, and spits out this paper thing saying, the tunnel leading to the east.
Well, it sounds like it's just a tunnel down there. More walking. I feel like press on. Does the not that being underground makes this easy to do, but does it seem like it's possible that the air vent that's in this room would just be the other end of the air vent we saw before?
Yes.
Okay.
So you're climbing down. Saffron first, I assume.
Yeah, I can head down if that's the best visibility.
And this is actually like a proper maintenance service tunnel once you're down. It's a bit warmer. There's like a pipe leading through the tunnel, and there's also like cables on the wall in different colors. And maybe Azure now is a good moment to roll for vial part discoveries, because we know if it has a certain color, it could lead to a vial part.
Yep. And it's 20%, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to roll
physical dice. Yes.
87. Nope.
And Sarko, I mean, somewhere could be information about immortality, right?
I mean, you would know better than me as far as if that's possible.
Every location, every discovery can have one.
Okay, sure. Let me roll that up. Guess I don't need to roll both, but I don't think so. No.
Okay. So there's these cables on the wall. There's also a pipe. The pipe is slightly warm, and it all leads to the east. And you follow the tunnel, I assume?
Yeah, I don't think we don't really have much of an option. I think I'm just being extra on guard now after the glass creature incident. I'm just kind of taking things a little bit slower and keeping my ears perked for.
Yes. So after maybe I don't know, 50 feet or so, there is a metal door to the south, and the tunnel goes on.
Worth poking into.
Mm-hmm.
It'll give us, maybe we can figure out more of what this space originally was.
Mm-hmm.
So the door is not blocking the tunnel; it's a door off of the tunnel.
Yeah,
right?
it's like this is the maintenance tunnel, and this is like the hatch to get into somewhere. I think.
Exactly. It does have like a hatch quality to it. Maybe it has also like an airlock wheel to it.
Mm-hmm.
So who's turning the wheel, if anyone? There's no window or so to look through.
Shall I?
You're the obvious candidate.
Since I'm the muscle. All right, I'll start cranking.
Mm-hmm. The wheel hasn't been moved in a while, so it's slightly rusted, but obviously no match to Azure's muscles, and the door opens with a hiss. When you pull the door open, behind it is a pretty small room, probably almost too small for Azure, and it has like a wall of switches with inscriptions, and the inscriptions are in, I think they're in Dwarven. So Saka would be able to read them, and it's like it's a list. It says control, and the switch is on. Observatory, the switch is off. Elevator, the switch is off. Maintenance 8, and it's on. Maintenance 7 is on, and reactor door is off.
Could is that something that can be copied and pasted into chat or something?
Yes.
I would say we turn off all the maintenance. That sounds like robots are going to clean us.
Sorry, what?
I was going to say I think we should turn off the maintenance. So it sounds like we'll get robo scrubbed to me if we leave it on. You know what I mean? And we should turn on all the interesting stuff: observatory. The reactor doors are already open. Elevator on.
Yeah. Elevator sounds useful.
Yeah, for sure.
Observatory sounds interesting.
Yes.
I don't necessarily want to turn maintenance off because who knows what they're maintaining in addition to maybe cleaning us up, right?
Yeah. Air.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But we may rue the decision, but for now I don't feel like I have enough information to feel like, oh, definitely, you know what I mean? I haven't seen anything try to clean us yet.
That's cool.
So we flip on observatory and elevator.
And reactor door.
Oh, reactor was the other one. Reactor door off. Maintenance 7 plus 8.
Was there another maintenance, or it was just the 2?
It was I thought
there was a 6, but I could be.
No, it's maintenance 7 is on and maintenance 8 is on.
Okay. Yeah, and without knowing what
Mm-hmm.
which maintenance applies to which whatevers.
Right. Yeah, we should leave it on. It's fine.
Yeah. If we get some evidence later on, this is potentially a place that we'll come back to. So we should try to keep track of our steps from here, in case we run into a dead end and we need to disable something.
So did I hear it right? You flip everything on, I think.
Yes.
Is that right?
I do believe so.
Okay, cool.
Just for fun.
The reactor doors itself just sounds like it's going to be a blast. No pun intended.
Well, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it in this little room, is just the switches on the wall.
Yeah, let me double check, because I always after. This is
just a little control clock, basically.
Yeah, yes, this is all.
Sounds good.
After switching the switches.
Cool. But yeah, it sounds like no one has touched these switches in a while, given the pressure differential between that room and the maintenance tunnel. And the rust on the door wheel. So
yeah,
we'll see what we've kicked off by turning things on.
So do you go back to the room you came from, or do you proceed in the direction that the tunnel leads?
I mean, we didn't have a lot of evidence that there was much of interest on the floor above. There was like, maybe could have poked around more and found more conference rooms, but I think my vote would be to continue down the tunnel here.
Yeah, I think so too.
So if you continue east, again, after 40-50 feet, there is a metal ladder on the side leading up, and you can see that there's like a circular opening in the ceiling where a pipe goes up. But the tunnel also goes further east.
Okay.
Are there any inscriptions or anything signaling like where we are, numbers, marking anything?
I don't think so, no. So the opening in the ceiling also looks as and the metal ladder looks as if it is a more recent addition, as if it has been cut out like in a makeshift way and not part of the original structure.
I feel like maybe we go further along the tunnel, because if
more
it's newer,
recent
that
actually sounds scarier.
Yeah, more likely to be Vohm stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
And so you proceed, and the tunnel ends in another airlock. This one has like a glass door. Sorry, a glass door, like a glass window, like a bullseye. And if you look through it, you can see like what looks like a what's it called? Like a small room for not decomposing.
Decontamination?
No, yeah, maybe that as well. It's more for like adjusting to pressure.
Okay.
Decompression, maybe?
Yeah, depending on which way you're going, totally.
So there's another door on the other side. So there's the airlock, then the small room, and then another door. And I might have should have mentioned that after the pipe that went up, everything here looks more recent as well, including the airlock.
Mm.
So as if the old tunnel would have ended at the pipe, and now that somebody cut this into the stone. And also the last like 30-40 feet you went after the pipe is slightly going down. Do you open the door?
I'm a little hesitant about anything that involves dramatic changes to the air that I am in.
Yeah, you should be the least concerned, like the organic members of the party.
Right.
Hey, now I have some like actual organs. I'm cybernetic, not robotic.
I mean, this could be another instance where we have a salamander take the first foray. Like the controls for the airlock, do they look like something that Flux could interact with and like go through this airlock?
Yes. From the inside, no. It's just again these wheels. The Savannah can't turn.
Okay. All right.
Is there a way for me to rip off a panel and put cataract in there like I did last time?
You can see through the glass that the room itself is very austere. There doesn't seem to be any kind of interface.
Kind of just purely mechanical.
Mm-hmm.
It's the river, I bet.
Yeah, the lake.
Oh, that kind of airlock, sure.
That's the only thing it's not. Well, unless there's some portal to space, I can't imagine why else you have one. Do we see anything in there, like suits or anything, or lockers?
No.
I can imagine it maybe being like not exactly a clean room, but like that kind of transition too. But
reactor too.
Yeah, exactly.
But there is a concern that maybe we're low enough down that if we open this, we just get flooded with water.
Yeah.
And also you went east the whole time.
Was that the way back towards the lake?
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
we could go. So if we think that these are related just by age of when they were constructed, we might be able to learn more about the airlock if we go up the ladder.
Yeah.
Or this might be like upstairs might be the preparation rooms or have equipment or something, and then people who use the airlock would come down here. Like you go between the two.
Well, if this is a maintenance tunnel, what's it maintaining? I mean, the lakes don't need maintaining. It's probably the reactor.
Well, I mean, it may or may not be a maintenance tunnel. It like connects to like some sort of master control switch type room, which seems fairly important, right? It doesn't seem like it's a total Jeffrey's tube situation. But I do feel like before messing with the airlock, that maybe going up the pipe with the ladder, it seems like the first thing to check out.
Yeah, I'm scared about the commitment required of using the airlock.
I mean, the thing is if we crank open the airlock, there needs to be another mechanism to open the other airlock, right? That's usually the way airlocks work. Is you go in, it gets depressurized for space or whatever it is, and then the doors open. Do we see any kind of like cranks or levers or anything inside this? Horst?
You only see the other side of the. So the other side of the airlock has another airlock, and you can see like grills, like the floor is grilled.
All right. Well, like, if you guys want to go up there, I'll guinea pig it, and I'll open up the door after you leave, and then go in and just take a look around. And then, if it's just empty, I'll just come back out, and then I'll wait for you. Or I'll die.
Yeah, so I guess to clarify Saffron's position, Saffron isn't opposed to like opening this door. This door is not the door that will potentially be our downfall. It's making use of the airlock or closing this door behind us, or.
Well, we could have one person stay. We could have one person kind of go experimentally, because like
we can open it up and someone can put their head in.
I can stay outside, because if I'm the hand cranker, you want me out here, and then I can crank it again. You know what I mean? Like if the door slams shut, then I can conceivably open it again manually.
I almost feel like maybe Azure should be in the airlock, right? Because there's another crank in there, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if say it starts to fill with water, the person who's most likely to be able to like hold breath long enough,
right, sure,
to like close that, because like even if that room fills with water, you've got some time to like close that door again, and then if we open our door, this is a big enough tunnel that it's going to make an inch or two of standing water, not a huge problem, as long as the outer door is closed.
All right, I'll go in. I'll crank it open and walk in.
Yeah. So when you crank open the door, there's another hiss and a difference in air pressure, and the room inside definitely smells like lake water.
Okay, that seems, if not definitive, that seems like a decent sign that like we don't need to go further here.
Yeah, and there's nothing else in the room, right?
No, you can look through the other window, obviously, and you can see there's no tunnel on the other side. There's the lake, and you can see that the lights of the lights that Saffron has seen before. And now that you're a bit closer, it does look like. It looks almost like an airstrip, an underwater airstrip, with lights in very geometrical shapes.
Not that this would be the most efficient way to do it, but now I wonder now that we know for sure that this is the lake, I wonder if this is sort of an emergency failsafe, that if there's a reactor somewhere, if things go really badly, do they think like, all right, just flood it with water and like hope that does something? I don't know. Or is this airlock a remnant from before the lake was here? I don't know. With that airstrip out there.
Species.
True. Yeah, that's a good point.
We saw the crab vomes taking stuff to the other entrance. You can imagine their predecessors coming in and using this to access the tunnels instead.
Well, and you said there were those ash people. Do I have that name right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the eaters is what they called them because they couldn't really communicate to them. They seemed to be like half human, half like something else, and they got their name Ash Eaters because they were eating ash.
Okay, but were they the ones who came out of the water?
No, from out of the water. That is, everywhere around the lake, the people talk about the so-called water people.
Oh, okay.
And the water people obviously have different shapes and forms, but they live underwater, and they are like a threat to the prosperity and security of the whole area.
All right, but it's not something we've seen. We've just heard stories. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you've seen water people in the at the Boulders Fort, They were sitting in these pools. They were also attacking Hamish. So you had direct contact with them.
All right.
But you also got the idea that there's some kind of civil war amongst them because there was another tunnel with detonator worms coming out of them.
I feel like either way, we probably don't need to progress further in this direction, and we can check up that pipe with the ladder.
So, Azure returns. Do you close the door behind you?
Yes.
And when I assume Saffron, who's on point, climbs up the ladder. Sorry. You immediately feel that it's getting colder. You can also smell the air from outside, and after I don't know, maybe 30 feet or so, you actually stick your head out of the pipe, and you are in the lake. The water is maybe 3 feet under you, and you can see from where you are the beach.
Okay.
Oh, is this the pipe we saw?
Yes, that is the pipe you saw.
Sounds like this is the observatory.
Mm-hmm.
Or it could be.
Looking at the crude map to see if this is.
I might have gotten some of the cardinal directions wrong.
It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
That looks pretty on point.
Yeah, there's a bit of confusion there about like whether up down is north south or the z-axis.
It doesn't really matter.
But it's clear enough.
Yes,
we know what it means.
That feels pretty, on point for UVG in general, where we're going west east, but the map is oriented in different opposite cardinal directions.
Absolutely, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool. So I think we play for another hour. Shall we take the last break? Does it make sense? 8:30. We just have another half an hour, or shall we press on?
I'm good either way.
Yeah, I'm fine either way.
Yeah, I'm fine with just keeping going.
Cool.
Here, actually, I'm just real quickly. I'm gonna walk out and walk back. I'm just gonna get another glass of water, so I'll be right back.
I'll get a juice or something. 2 minutes.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, I really like players who make maps rather than showing a map and then revealing it or something. So good job, Nathan, with the map.
Yeah, it was just like it's not like it matters, right? But it's just like I was having just enough disorientation. I was like, this will just help me.
Yes.
Yeah, this combined with notes is like, okay, we can generally keep track of where we.
Yeah.
I will also, if you.
There's that air vent I haven't put on here. I'll put that on here.
If you want to, I can add your map to the session report.
Yeah, totally. Go for it.
Yes.
See if I can.
All right, so Saffron, do you climb back down and tell the others?
Yeah, I think we just double back down and be like, okay, we found the other entrance. Good to know. Not immediately useful. Fresh air was nice.
Do you go back to the room with the air vent?
Yeah, so we can go back to the
It's the
we can
conference
go back
room?
up the original manhole to the conference rooms.
And that air vent connected to the room with the like Vohm who was turned off, or is that do I have that right?
Just after that. I think
Just
there
after
was
that.
air vent.
Okay, like in the tunnel or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good to know if we need like an
Yeah.
emergency escape or something, but I think
Some of
we're
us.
yeah. But we can just keep going. There was the other passage leading out of the conference room that we could potentially keep poking around.
So you return to the room with the manhole cover and the air vents. The air vent.
Yeah, so the manhole cover, the air vent, and
the glassy
smaller,
slime.
Glassy slime in the previous room and the smaller conference room area.
And so the only other room, the only other exit you haven't checked is to the north.
Yeah, so there was the. So I thought there was another like door out of this.
Yeah, it is more like the same entrance that led to this room. So it's again a passageway.
There is a passageway that the little like
we have the brick
size. Yeah, we haven't gone that way.
We can explore whatever how these bricks are going.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there is exactly, there's an exit from the brick making machine room, and then there's also an exit from the room with the manhole cover that also leads north.
Oh, okay.
Oh, north. Okay. I thought the conference room had the manhole cover.
Yes.
Okay.
We're back up there, and we could
let's go north.
One of two.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so again, there is like this glass on the floor and another, darkened, liquidy sign on the ground.
Shining that flashlight up. I'm looking around. Not again.
Yes, there are 3 of these glassy slime creatures hanging on the ceiling.
Spotting them, is it easy enough to avoid them?
Yes, you can. There's no like dexterity check or something. You have to be careful, but if you walk slowly, it would be like dangerous if you have to run.
If we want to try to pitch at them, my vote is for knocking them down, just so if we have to make a quick escape, we're not getting.
I mean, we can go to just backtrack 2 rooms to the brick machine and just get a couple armloads of bricks, which I'm not opposed to at all.
We have grenades.
No,
I don't want to try that much attention.
What?
Bricks are fine.
How about porcelain pistols?
Yeah, I thought about that. My thought, the first reason why I didn't do that before is I don't know how does the White Hack version of this do ammo and whatnot? Is it just sort of like hand wave? Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, then I have no problem with that at all.
When you move to the south room, you can see that there are. Let's see, how many are there? To go again.
Wait, when we moved to the south, I thought we had
to the brick making thing.
If we're gonna grab some bricks,
we don't necessarily need to do that if we're just gonna shoot down with the pistol. Fine by me.
Oh, definitely. You can definitely shoot them down. They do splinter. They fall on the ground. They shatter. And that is that. So, do you proceed north?
Is it like? I mean,
what
like,
exits?
They shatter and then they all turn into little backyard guys, or
T-1000.
Right.
Well, they after they shatter, they slowly, but very slowly, turn into this liquidy, viscous form again. But you really have to stand there for 5 minutes to watch it happen.
Mm.
What do you guys think? I mean, that's how we got fucked up. That's how you got fucked up before, right?
Yeah,
I mean it's easier to step around them when they're on the floor.
Yeah, I mean, we can do before we go into a room too. We can just kind of like shine our lights up to look for the glint of glass.
Mm-hmm.
I feel as long as we're not running pell-mell, but
it does mean we potentially want to. Sorry, what was that?
I think you get extra XP for using pell-mell. I love that one.
It does mean that potentially when we double back, we shouldn't assume that they're gone.
Yeah,
good.
Totally. Yeah.
Okay.
So the next room is the room that I actually explained before. So there is this postmodern fountain in the middle of the room. There is a pretty wide staircase leading up. There is a door to the north, and there is a door with 2 buttons to the left.
That sounds like an elevator.
So you said there's a postmodern fountain?
Yeah, well, it's postmodern in the sense that it has this slowly rotating silvery metal cylinders that look like a pretty minimalist sculpture of some kind, but also works as a fountain.
And then the exits are?
The staircase leading up, a door to the north. That is actually it's a pretty big door, and both sides are open. And then there's the metal door to the left with 2 buttons, a red one and a silver one.
Got it. Do any of those buttons in the metal door look depressed or like locked down or whatever?
No. And there's also like a small round grill next to the silver button.
Interesting. Almost maybe like a speaking grate or whatever. The stairs in this room, they just go up to
what looks like the outside.
Maybe conceivably might be like where the crab vomes were bringing stuff down.
Yes.
So we might have ended up kind of doubling back. However, these buttons do make me think of elevator.
Definitely.
We turned on, so that could be interesting. How much we trust the elevator is another question. But
the big door that's open, what do we see through it?
That is a very good question. It's another dark room, but the room seems to be illuminated by I don't know, like the blue glow of screens, of like old-fashioned tube television screens. Or do you go like to the door and look inside the room? Then you get the picture. Okay. So apart from like, it looks like a pyramid of stacked computer screens, like old-fashioned computer screen. I scrapped the blue glow. It's a green. In front of this pyramid, there lie like obviously ritualistically placed objects. There are, I don't know, corroded tins. There's maybe an old toaster. There's seashells and stones, and like semi-precious stones. And
this is
bird eggs.
This is potentially what the crab bones were worshipping or something.
Mm-hmm. And then there is an old, pretty big, I don't know what's it called. Not a telescope. Well, maybe it's a telescope. So it's like this big tube that is directed upwards, and then there's a chair in front of the telescope.
Okay. Does the telescope pointed upwards? Does it like have view to anything?
Say it again.
Like, if you looked into this telescope, is it just pointing at a wall, or?
No, it actually it points to the ceiling. It ends in the ceiling and then further.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. I got it. I'll take a look.
So,
well, first, actually, I'm going to take my flashlight and look for glass.
Obviously, very good. There's no slimy glass traps on the ceiling. When you walk over to the chair is super comfy. It's like red leather. When you look through the lens, it is actually pointed at the sky, and you can see pretty closely what is referred sometimes as the fast stars.
Mm.
But in this case, it seems to be a planet.
Mm.
So it's directly pointed at a red hued planet.
Any other distinguishing features, or just red?
Well, there are like dials and levers and things to adjust at the telescope.
Gotcha. In this room too, any exits from this room?
No, there are no other exits from this room.
And the computer monitors that are here and stacked, and they're glowing green, they don't have anything else on like displayed. They're just sort of like on in that like standby black green.
Yes, exactly. Maybe they have this like blinking cursor.
Yeah.
Waiting for some kind of input.
Cool. Well, this seems like maybe the observatory. Oh, and then this is probably what we turned on, right? Or was it already on?
Good question.
That's a good question.
We don't know. So maybe we did a favor for the crab bones by turning back on their god.
Yeah. Is the telescope a powered telescope, or is it like purely like optical?
No, it's a powered telescope.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so that might be it too.
Yeah.
But intriguing, but I don't know if we can do much with it right now.
Yeah.
It might be interesting to somewhere down the line if we were like, oh, let's figure out what these crab bones are about. Like if we could hide and observe them and what they do. But
I mean, that would give you experience points in studying a different culture.
Yeah.
With the crab bones, I didn't come across, or I don't think I was in the session where they came up before. Do we have a sense of like why we're not seeing any of them right now?
Well, they came out at night.
Okay.
Yeah, we saw them going down the stairs, bringing stuff to the stairs.
Okay.
When we like first stopped and did a little bit of exploring.
Got it.
But they could just be like, okay, they come periodically, and we happen to be in a time when they're not here.
Got it.
You can swipe it, but you can swipe through.
That's dope. You gonna get it?
Yeah, I already got it.
Oh, nice work.
But my vote is maybe we check out the elevator, see what that does.
Sorry, guys.
If we're back here, at nighttime, if we come back up here a little later, maybe we can carefully observe some crab bones. But
yeah, when you check you can see through the staircase that it is maybe, I don't know, maybe the sun just came out through the to the purple mist, so it must be noon. Maybe
so we still have a while.
So you going to the metal door?
Yeah. How do y'all feel about some elevator?
I feel like pushing some buttons. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Which one do you push?
So the silver one had the grate that might be a speaker, it might be something else. Who knows?
Poisonous gas, maybe.
Yeah.
And there's a red button.
I feel like I'll start with silver. Silver seems more inviting than red.
Yeah, that's like when the one with the bell on it in our elevators, the one that sets off. Lets the fire department know that the elevator's on fire.
Exactly.
So you press the silver button, and there's a very pleasant chime, and a voice comes out of the speaker, and it says, "Hello, this is Bell. How may I be of service?"
Good question.
So we say take us to the command center.
Take us to your leader.
Yeah.
Hello. Nice to meet you. Could you tell us more information about this?
Explain your functions, yeah.
I have waited for this for so long. What do you want to know? The general layout, weather information, sports news.
Definitely sports news.
There's somebody inside of me.